If ever I'm to be called, let me talk like Achabi, reading any poem of mine or any poetry book of mine, it has to be this. Because so much is tied with it, and actually the circumstances of its coming out as a collection of poetry. I had this girlfriend of mine who was very artistic, very much into poetry. We would meet and we would talk, and we would talk poetry also. And I would write a poem and give to her. And she would go, so one day I wrote one poem, and the poem is here. And I gave it to her. And she said, oh, very beautiful poem. But the only thing about this is that she wants to paste it in her wall in Queen's Hall. But people know me. And so if she has to paste it, she has to remove my name. And then she will paste it. I said, go ahead and remove my name and paste it. And then it occurred to me that I have many poems that people will not know I wrote. Either because I didn't write my name, or because somebody feels that you can just remove the name and so on. So I told her, within a month, I'm going to surprise you. And that's how this poem came out, this thing came out. I said, okay, instead of just writing and giving away, why don't I write and put my name? And why don't I also see whether I can collect one or two that I had written? So I think I collected that particular one she had, and it's here also. So that's the story behind this. That otherwise I was not thinking of actually publishing or writing this. Every poem here has a kind of, how do you put it now? You know, when Shoyinka says that a cicatrice has been made in the memory or in the mind. So there's a cicatrice for each of those poems. If you take Grey Days, for instance, I was looking at those friends of mine who had passed on. And each of them passed on in a very peculiar way. I took 3 of them. I don't know if you remember Tayo Awotosin, who died in Liberia. He is here. I said, self-effacing, quietly analytical, Tayo Awotosin, armed with a pen and his reporter's pad, and wearing the Geneva Convention like a bulletproof vest. He went hunting dispatches in Liberia, where he rests in an unmarked grave in an unknown cemetery, far from the reeking shame of a country too cowardly to avenge a mother most foul. Tayo Awotosin, friend and compatriot, man of peace, who died in another man's war. So the guy was my friend, and we did a lot of things together. So when I say that there is a lot of wound contained here and a lot of pleasure, it's contained in the poems like that. Then I have the same Frank Moore. I'm sure Frank Moore, I don't know whether you published any Frank Moore, but it was this guy who was also a deep thinker and a deep writer. Frank Moore, deep inside he carried a mascot, a coin. On one side, Chikaya Otamsi. On the flip side, Okibo. But at times, when he spun it, Shoyinka it was that showed upside. And his thesis was on Chikaya Otamsi. He was this quiet guy, I mean, Frank Moore himself and so on. So each of the poems has bits of my life, you know. Some of them are not too, you know, the kind of things that I remember. And look at this, after this season of several deaths and going to a cemetery and all the things there and that. So there are many parts of it. I'm trying to look for one that is short enough and they may not be that morbid, you know. Home is where mother is, and do I swear to you, the taste lingers like taste of our first kiss. Yeah, this one particular poem, again, I said that it's long, is another poem that, you know, I saw this young girl who had been killed, and they took up, you know, her pubic, and they took out the private parts and the breast, and it was terrible, and I put it here. And like I said, so that's the kind of thing you have here. And if you remember the definition of poetry, I don't know whether it's Okibo's definition or that of Wordsworth, we remember that it stems from emotions recollected in tranquility. Or when you take Okibo, how did Okibo put his own? I think Okibo says something like, not so much emotions you are recollecting in tranquility, as some kind of pain that is truncating your present circumstances, you know. And I'm trying to look for a very short poem. This poem about a man and a woman. There are lots of ambiguity of silence. I have two people, a he and a she. So you might say it's a kind of duet, you know. So he, my father always reacted to wrongdoing with silence. I become frightened each time I encounter silence. And your silence is growing like a shadow at even light. Is it because of the telltale smudge of lipstick on my sleeve? Or is my shirt still reeking of a strange perfume? Or did you manage to spy that text before I wiped it off? Your silence is eating me up. Scourge me with your tongue. Smash the telly on my head. Speak and set me free. That's a man silently talking to the wife, but he doesn't say it at the end, the woman. This meekness of the house rat with the silence of the gecko. And yes, that glint in your eye, do they conceal past indiscretions or foreshadows those to come? How can you carry the carcass of an elephant on your head and dig for crickets with your toe? But that's your burden. Can the tortoise ever advance without his shell? We are the ants. Fly where you will. Your termite wings will soon give way. The termite always waits within reach of the waiting ants. Anybody who is married will know this. It's a man and the wife. The wife is a patient one. She waits. The man will come crashing. Amen.